Good morning, all you beautiful love streamers out there on Facebook, Zoom, and wherever you may be. We want to welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. I am your host, Horace, and if this is your first time, we are so delighted that you have chosen to join us today. With modern technology, we are extremely grateful for this opportunity to touch so many lives through social media and all the ways that we do that as we share those wonderful happenings here at CSO Charlotte. So please feel free to visit our website, csoCharlotte.org, put in a prayer request, and subscribe. We add our recordings to our website each week. So let me tell you more about who exactly we are. The Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte is a new thought community living in ancient wisdom philosophy based on the science of mind. This science of mind philosophy was developed in the early 20th century by writer and lecturer Ernest Holmes. Dr. Holmes was a man on a mission. He studied truths from all of the world's religious traditions and spiritual paths. Holmes developed a fresh new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into our world. At CSO Charlotte, every philosophy is honored along with every race, sexual orientation, and physical distinction. This is a diverse community. There are many paths to the divine. We can call it God, peace, love, spirit, infinite mind, or the I am presence. It really doesn't matter what you call it. This is your power that resonates within you. You do not have to leave your philosophy or nature of knowledge. You can join us anytime. We recognize and refer to many holy scriptures, such as the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, the Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita. That's just to name only a few. So our vision statement is to continue a spiritual community, creating and preparing a succession of future leaders who can fully integrate, teach, and expose the science of mind principles, messages, and practices that strengthen the mind, body, and spirit of individuals. So, one of our aims is to create a high collective consciousness for everyone in this community. We teach everyone the tools to do just that. So come and join us as we meet every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And we welcome you when you come. So we want you to know more about that later on as we tell you the details about that, as we celebrate the powerful being which lives within each and every one of us. So before I pass the mic over to our fabulous, fearless leader, I want to leave you with this thought. Some of us think holding on makes us strong, but sometimes it is in the letting go. And that is by Herman Hesse. So now I'm going to pass the mic over to our wonderful, illustrious, fabulous spiritual leader, Reverend Rosedale.
Whoa, that is so phenomenal, Horace. The letting go. This talk title is Releasing Assessments. Let them go. Experience life. Hold on, guys, and just feel like you're riding through the snow with the dogs pulling you. But anyway, welcome everybody. This is Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte, and I welcome you so much. You know what? Thank you, Horace. That was a fabulous introduction and quote. And now to our YouTube listeners and virtual listeners and everybody everywhere, even our personal in-person community, welcome to Science science. Center for Spiritual Living, the Mind Business. Oh my goodness, the Mind Body Spirit Center. Y'all got this. You know what I really mean. So everybody that heard that can say, "Oh yeah, I know what you meant." The Mind Body Spirit Center, right? Okay. So the first thing we do in our spiritual community is we very much love to open us up very well and be in one accord and in our spirit, in our mind, in center, right? So what we do, how we do that is through an affirmative prayer. And today we have my sweet sister, Karen, Reverend Karen, and Reverend Karen, she's going to open us up today. But one thing I know about her when it comes to release assessments and also experience life is she's been talking about that with me all week about how she's been doing that. So I think that you're in for a treat this morning because you're going to get whatever residue is in that heart, mind, and soul of this woman this morning. So with that, with no further ado, let's have you, Karen, come and bring us those words in the affirmative style.
Oh, thank you, Reverend Rosedale, my sister. Your introductions are always so beautiful, and living up to that, releasing assessments, embracing who we are, and just knowing that we are of God. We are all of God. We embrace ourselves. We embrace every bit of who we are. We embrace that beauty that God made, which is each and every one of us within all living things. And I know as this message is delivered beautifully through Reverend Rosedale this morning, through her heart, as it always is, that each of us take what we hear, take what we need to fill a spot in our heart, to open us up and to fill us up as we go through this week in beauty and gratitude, and knowing that the only assessment we need is the assessment that God gave us when we were first made, before we were even in our mother's wombs. We were assessed and we were filled with God light. And that is the only thing we need to know, is that we are God light. We are brilliant. We are special, and we bring that light out into our world. So as we get ready to hear this beautiful message this morning, just know, each and every one of us, that we are the light of God, the light of the universe, and the light of this world. And in thanksgiving for that, for knowing, and for the power of this beautiful family at CSL Charlotte, please join me as I release this prayer into the universal law. And together we say, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Reverend Karen, for leaving that beautiful resonance with me. You combined us all with spirit, with God, with the universe, with energy. Thank you so much. It's all in the mind of God. So, next on our platform is our reader. And our reader is Melissa. Now, Melissa has been good too with keeping our chat 'em up conversations lately in the realm of release assessments and experience life. It's so amazing. I was telling everybody in this study, in the book study yesterday, that everything I'm doing is all about that next week for some reason, but it's not something I'm intending. It's just what keeps me on top of life. So I'm grateful that I have all these things going on for all of you as well as for me. So if you're open, you are in for a major treat when Melissa reads her reading to you. So now the next thing I want you to know is that after Melissa reads, I was going to say after Melissa sings her song. Well, no, after Melissa's reading, you're going to hear this wonderful song, Live Like You Were Dying. That title in and of itself should let you know, stop assessing, live your life, but just wait. Melissa, make it do what it do.
Oh, thank you so much, Reverend Rosedale. Yeah, looking forward to the talk this morning. And my reading this morning will be on being in the present. And actually, the reading is from Spirit of Now by Peter Russell and his interpretation on being present. Countless spiritual teachers from Buddha and Latsai to Ram Dass and Eckhart Tolle have urged to be in the present moment, urged us all to be in the present moment. In a sense, we are always in the present. Our past, we know from memories, but those memories are experienced in the present. Similarly, our future is something we imagine. Again, an experience in the present. Whatever we may be thinking and doing, we are doing it now. Even when we are totally wrapped up in thoughts about the past or the future, the thoughts themselves are happening now. When we say we are not in the present, we really mean that our attention is not in the now. It is looking back to the past or forward to the future. To return to the present is to return our attention to the here and now. The mind that is attending the present is a mind that is free from distracting self-talk about what has or has not happened or what might or might not happen. A mind in the present moment is free to experience what is. This does not imply that we are no longer, and we no longer take any notice of the past nor consider the future. There is still much to learn from the past. In many ways, we can influence the future and so improve the quality of our lives and the lives of others. The difference is that in the present moment, we find an inner stability and mental clarity that frees us to respond to those needs with greater wisdom and acceptance. In the present, we are in touch with ourselves, our inner essence. There is no longer any need to derive an identity from our interactions with the world. Our sense of being is no longer at the mercy of how others see us. Our essence needs no qualifications or recognition, nor can it be threatened. It is always there, a steady ground beneath all our varying experiences. Knowing our inner essence to be invulnerable, the mind is not caught up in concern. And a mind free from concern is a mind at peace. And so it is.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Let's just do a 2-minute centering right quick. Relax your eyes. Either look into your lap or close them, but it's your choice. And breathe in really, really deeply and slow on the exhale. Take those nostrils and open them and awaken them and open up the strands of all your nerves and the brain and all of that. So let's take this in. Live like you're dying. Did you hear what Tim McGraw said when he said, I loved a little deeper. Then I went skydiving. And I even went fishing because my dad used to ask me for so many years. Is that what it takes to experience life? A piece of an x-ray? A little fear? Hopefully not. I'm knowing that you release all those assessments and all those things that worry you and give you and hold you down, because that's what stops you from going skydiving. That's what stops you from doing the things you enjoy to experience life. In other words, all the old overthinking and the self-assessments that we do are such time wasters, and they make an anchor to us. They anchor us to the bottom of the sea. It's your choice to take the time. And when you take that time, develop some spiritual practices, because that is what's going to really rock your world. So with that understanding and that knowing, live like you're dying was not something to scare you or to be negative, just giving you something to think about through the voice and the lyrics of Tim McGraw. So with that, let's prepare for our talk, and also let's begin to release assessments and experience life. Okay, wiggle your fingers and your toes and integrate your mind, body, and spirit right into the service. But before you all the way enter back, take a look around your area and your space as if you are new to it and you are just getting there for the first time. So what I'm going to do first, as I always do, because gratitude starts my day. So I'm going to take gratitude and take a moment to thank you, Horace the Bush, the one who runs our community like a well-oiled machine. And I want to say that quote you said was fabulous. And I thank you so much for the reading, Melissa. That reading was done so nice and poised. I must tell you that. And also, thank you, Reverend Karen, for your beautiful, awesome words that really, I have to say it, works through my cells. Okay. So now let's think about releasing assessments and experience in life. Do you know, well, you might and you might not, but let me just tell you, in the realm of spirituality, we come to this world, we come to understand at some point that we are not just human beings. We start to realize that we are not just going through the motions of life anymore, but rather we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And I'm sure that's not new to anybody here. See, realizing though, and paying and recognizing and understanding that we are those beings, human spiritual beings having a human experience, it just makes us that much more aware of that natural power that we possess. That power that makes us realize that, hey, I don't have to accept life on those terms. I don't. The only problem with that is if nobody's doing that spiritual practice or having those conversations the way we have in Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte, like for example, our book study. For another example, our consciousness study. Every time I get a bunch of us together, we're talking this talk. Because this is necessary. This wasn't done prior. So therefore, everything was happening. Whatever happened in your life is happening in your life and whatever. No, we don't have to do that. We can experience life just by looking through the eyes of other people sometimes, listening to other people share their stories and their life, not just theory. I spoke about that yesterday. No, I'm not a theorist. I'm an experience. I like to experience spirit. I don't like talking about it and telling you, well, I think that, no, or this is what, no, this is what I've experienced. Hello? That's why we got to experience life, because life is what? Spirit. Release all those assessments about, well, you know what he meant when he said the sun or the rising moon or whatever. You know what the 12 clouds are doing, what is it, the 12 stars are doing right now in astrology. You know what? I want to know what's it doing in my life. I want to experience life, okay, rather than sit there and do all this assessing. And I thought I was going in one direction with this talk, and I feel like I'm going to another, but that's okay. Because what I learned is that I am totally aware of my natural power. And my natural power is the same power that everybody else possesses, but that's okay. But I know mine resides in me. Question, are you aware of that yourself? And if you are you acting upon it? Or are you, once we get out of our talks, going home and getting busy in yourself with your whatever you do all the time, without even giving more thoughts about what you just heard or trying to reflect back? Because if you are, I guarantee you're moving to the next level. If you are, I guarantee you that you are looking for a better way. And I guarantee you will find it. And matter of fact, you will live it. It takes more than just theory. and just talking about things. It takes listening to yourself later. When we practice, we we assess ourselves in a good way when we're in spiritual practice. We assess ourselves in a good way, and we do it in ways that don't hinder our progress when you're doing it through spiritual practice. So it's so crucial that we begin to develop these spiritual practices and start to understand that this is going to work for me. Also, it's crucial that we start to understand where we are, because the present moment is where everything's happening. When we take walks, like going out to do things in nature, we are definitely not in the realm of the commotions right now. If you're really actually using nature for the real walk, if you're using that walk, not just I'm just exercising because this is my work. No, that's not what we're doing that for all the time. Sometimes you need that walk so that you cannot be in your present house at that moment. Sometimes when you're in that place, you are bogged down with stuff. You need to get out of the house. You need to get off of your job and get out there in nature. That goes for anybody. When we find ourselves alone somewhere, and not around our familiar surroundings, you know what happens? And we get ourselves isolated. Guess what? Guess what that is? That is a form of meditation. And when we start to recognize meditation is not, I got to see how long I can shut my mind down and I got to make things get quiet in my head. No, that is not meditation. That is ridiculousness. Yes, it is. You know, I can't believe I said that, but really it is. Because you're straining every bit of your nerves. The vagus nerve that goes all the way down. Listen, everything is about science and spirituality. The body is all about all of that. Science, the mind is all about science and spirituality. And then the body can be brought into it for all the healing and all the necessary things you need to feel like you can get out there and make that move, get out there and do that walking. So take a walk. Because one of the things I do know, if I'm overanalyzing things, which I do sometimes, and I'm quite sure many of you do, but I tell myself, you know what? Go take a walk. No, and sometimes I have to take a drive and I say, okay, this is cool. I don't want the music today. I need to be here now. So Rosedale, you see all those trees? Let's start putting our minds on that. I like to see the wind blow them. Let me see what happens while the trees are blowing. Because if I don't, I end up on this little down this rabbit hole. And see, this rabbit hole, I know for a fact, makes it difficult for me to focus. And the more difficult it is for me to focus out of my mental commotion or confusion, the harder it is for me to create. I'm a creator. So if I'm upset about things, I'm not going to create the way I want. That's why I'm starting a new book, because I have decided that, no, I don't have time for people that's going to talk about blah, 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 blah. I want to talk about people that's moving and advancing and moving it forward. I want to talk to them about that. And if I can't have those conversations, then I don't think I want to talk. Like a little kid, I don't want to talk. I'm not your friend. I can't do it anymore. It's not that I can't afford it anymore. I've done it too many years. And I would like to venture a guess that many people here has done that. But the good news for me is that all the places I've moved around and lived in were always great places to walk. And here's what I realized that would happen to me. I don't just walk and say, oh, I got to move my body. No, I do have to move my body. So I do, and in various ways, because I know that I told my class the other day, listen, this is not a doggone luxury. I said freaking luxury. But at the same time, they laughed. But I said, this is not a luxury. I have no choice but to keep my body straight. Because if my body doesn't stay straight, then my mind starts going wicky-washy, and then my spirit is all over the place, manifesting here, manifesting there, and I have no clue of what in the heck I'm doing. How do I experience life with all that out of sorts? The mind-body-spirit connection, what is that word? Depends on that. It depends on me having that clarity, that mental clarity. I got an email yesterday from someone who told me, I heard your talk the other day and the networking thing, and I'd like to talk to you more about mental clarity. And again, soon as I said that, I said, I know what I'm going to talk to him about. I'm going to talk to him about releasing assessments. And you see what I'm saying? I'm telling you, it's all about my talk. Everything is what I'm doing. And I'm going to talk to him about experiencing life. See, when I'm out there and I'm taking my walks, I'm actually listening to this. This is me. And I might sound crazy, but I don't care. I like crazy. I live crazy. But let me tell you something. I like listening to the conversations that the birds are having. They have great conversations, I know, because it's very peaceful out there when it's just me and them. Also, I have ducks. And then all of a sudden they start going, whoa, whoa, you know, whatever, right? I just go, why don't you answer him? And I start making up conversations with them. But guess where I'm going with that? Guys, I am not in that problem I walked out of that house with. I am not in that argument, or I am not in that, I can't think. I'm not being creative. I hear the conversations of the rattlesnakes and the crickets. But you know what? I know there are rattlesnakes back there, but I don't go back there and test it. I just know they're there. And I said, boy, you guys are so busy today. And I like it. But what does it put me in? Because I'm listening to them. I'm be here, Rosedale. Be here now. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm saying to myself. Be here now. Let me ask you, can you do that this week? At least one day. Because when I found out that is when I come back in that house a couple of times when I first started doing this, when I found out the creativity and the things that happen to me that makes me do this stuff, I realized that I get to do it every day. And I'm not saying that you have to, but I'm telling you, you may want to. I'm saying when I'm listening and smelling the trees. You know, there's a place in California, Encinitas, where Melissa and I used to walk. And oh my God, Neptune. And it would smell, we walked, I can smell the trees before we get there. I said, let's go back there because there's something happening inside of me. Do you know that the trees have the same cells we do? Do you know that they're there for us to get back into ourselves? I was studying really hard some days, and Melissa would come and get me, and we would go and walk. I got away from those books for a minute. And when I started realizing that when I come back in here, this is all good. Everything is working. And then eventually, I find myself back there, and I'm going like a champ. Finishing those essays up, and I can no longer think about the things that got me upset or whatever earlier that day. No, they're not a thought anymore. I am in the present moment. That's where it gets. I can't do that. And listen to this. Here's what I've experienced. Assessing comes from my analytical mind. Listen. The analytical mind feels separate, and it doesn't feel like it's part of the mind-body-spirit connection. It feels like it's smarter than the mind-body-spirit connection sometimes. But sometimes it decides it's going to join. But that's up to me. That's up to me to decide that, you know what? I don't like that analogy, so I don't think I'm going to go there. But ultimately, when we are assessing, we end up being where? We talked about the 4 kingdoms last week. We end up in the victim kingdom when we over-assess them. Do you get that? So now, do you realize that when we have a choice between releasing the assessments that no longer serves us and experiencing life, Should we take it? Well, that's what I learned how to do. Any chance I get, I just say, oh, look at you. You're talking about that again. You're talking about the way he said that to you, or she said that to you, or she did that to you. Hey, get out of that. Let's do this. Let's take this walk. I come back. You think I can't experience more life then? I am free, creative. I get to do whatever I want, and I am happy within my own being, in my own body. And when my body's happy, it's good. I'm no longer emotionally charged. You know what it is to be emotionally charged? Victim stage. Emotionally charged means, oh, that hurt my feelings. Or, oh, I didn't get that. I don't know why I can't get it. Or you don't even have to say why. You can just say, it's not happening for me. Stop. You want it to happen for you, so stop saying that. That's not gonna work. Because you're saying the total opposite, what's not true of what you want. So when we are feeling emotionally charged, we are in where? Victim kingdom. Victim kingdom, right? Victim kingdom. I should be saying that to myself. That's another thing I'm going to start saying if I hear me doing that this week. Victim kingdom. When we are emotionally charged, not emotionally charged, and we are in that thing and we can repeat something that hurt our feelings and it doesn't have the same charge, we are in wisdom, baby. Serious. You talking about somebody that's excited about that? Me. When I start to remember that, if you start to get yourself all tied up into that thing, guess where you going? You don't want to be there. So once again, last week, whoever did the reading last week, who did the reading last week? Anyway, okay, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. We there was a quote on there, and the quote said that the mind that creates the problem, it meant that, but this is what I wrote in my book. That's what I'm trying to say. The mind that creates the problem can't be the mind that fixes the problem. That's what I said in the book, something to that effect. But you know what? I said to myself, you live this. Because the reason why I said that, this week I was working on getting ready for the study, and that's in the chapter 4. I said, you said that. And guess who always reminds me of everything I said? Reverend Karen. She said, you know what you said in the book? You said, and I said, yep. She said, you do it. So then I said to myself, you need to be excited about you because you live this. Because other people are saying the same thing, and these are these long older dude people who was doing this for many, many years, and I got wind of it, but didn't realize it. I was following it in places. And now it's coming to roost in a good way. Here's what I learned. So, when you think about memory, a memory without charge is wisdom. Remember that. Because if you can remember from Melissa's reading what she said, I'm going to ad lib somewhat. Our past is from memories, right? But guess what? When you're thinking of your past, you're in the present. Not a good place to be at where you're thinking in the past. Because you see, if there's 3 things that you could be doing when you worry, and that is if you're in the future, you're worried. If you're in the past, you are depressed. So where you want to be is in the present. And then she said, our future is something we imagine, and that is what I talk about when I'm in the consciousness meeting. Look at you on the screen of the consciousness. Or I might even say, imagine. Whatever I'm saying, I know that everything must begin in the mind first, because when that mind creates that wisdom, now my body rather, can now operate under a new mind. And when my body begins to operate under a new mind, healing happens. When my body begins to operate under a new mind, I go work out, I move my muscles, I strengthen my body. When my body begins to act under a new mind, I'm more decisive. And I will do what it takes to keep myself alive and to stay happy. So just remember, we got to be this way. We got to be people who start to lock that stuff out. Drop those assessments. Drop them because they're not serving us. And then get to experience life. So that being said, make no mistake about this. All of this comes from a power within us without even thinking about it, without even a thought. All the good that we want comes from there. Let it come. Let it come. Experience life. Now let's just think before I close out. I just want to tell you about this next song. You know, this next song is about a spiritual spiral. Just imagine it being a spiritual spiral. And you're going up and you're embracing your life. Now, what happens is a lot of times you get fixated on how much is this thing going to cost me, or how long can I do this, or can I afford to take this time and do this? That's the problem, okay? But you got to understand, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get there. It doesn't matter how much you want it. It doesn't matter even if you want it. If that is something that keeps playing in your record all the time to go do it, you better find a way to get yourself up and do it, okay? Because this is what happens. What she's getting ready to sing to us is reminding us about every time she comes to a different plateau and she's ready to take that climb, she starts worrying about how long am I going to be there? And then she tells herself she's got a solution. So listen to The Climb by this beautiful lady, Hannah Montana. This is not Miley Cyrus, but it is her song. Rosedale, you know that song gets you. You know, I was listening to that song in my car the other day, and I was on the expressway, and I like it when I got a certain speed up, and I just kept rewinding it and rewinding it, and she said, and she's right, there's always going to be another mountain. I'm always going to want to make it move. Oh, 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 oh. And sometimes I'm going to have to lose. It ain't about how fast I get there, but that's it. You know what I'm talking about. It ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the doggone climb. It's that spiritual upward spiral that I want to stay on. Take a deep breath, everybody. I'm telling you, that song got me every single time. I can't sit and go, yeah, it's a nice song. Not with that one. No, not with a lot of them. But anyway, I'm done. Guys, I got to bring that back. Okay. If you have not received a prayer request in your email box, you have not a prayer request. You have not received a prayer in your email box. You have not put in a prayer request. So put in a prayer request. There you go, folks. So now it's back to me talking about birthdays. You know, I love talking about them because, especially in November, because mine is coming up. Aha. And so I get a chance to embrace my acceptance of being here in this world. This is the month I came to be. Every single day I think about my birthday. Yesterday I said, wow, I know where my mother was in 1955. Oh, I do. I do that often. Oh, and the other day I look at my clock and my clock says 11:21. I said, oh, that's my birthday. And my kids go, oh my God, here she goes. It's November. That's just what I do. I acknowledge what I do. So why is it that people have to force each other to acknowledge themselves? Because they don't want to do that. They rather give it to somebody else and say, well, let me honor you. No, this is my time to say, Rosedale, let me honor you. Okay, thank you. And I'm happy to do it for me. So I hope you're happy to do yours, because you know your birthday, I don't. So all you have to do is, if you're on YouTube, down in the comments, just write your day and your month and your day, rather. And then just leave it that way. We will pick it up. And from there, you will be able to get your birthday celebrated. So enjoy that when you see it, because even if you don't hear somebody that day when your birthday comes up and we know your birthday is that day, we're going to know and give you a shout out. Let me tell you something, you do not have to be in the same room with anybody when spirit is in action. I'm telling you, I know. I have done so many different prayers, or I've done spiritual practice across the country to different people, and healing or whatever happens came about. So I'm just telling you, you don't have to be in the same state, locality, or none of that stuff. So just know you'll be getting that. So anyway, I got to do the best thing I like doing too, and that is acknowledging this platform team. So the first thing I want to do is give a big shout out to our awesome Horace the Bush, the man with the master plan, who runs our who runs our community like a well-oiled machine. Thank you, Horace the Bush. And then I like to say thank you, Timmy P, our co-pilot, for the fabulous music. And the way he does those announcements is always superb. We know exactly what to expect from what's going on with CSL Charlotte. I think that is phenomenal. And thank you, Reverend Karen, for that fabulous prayer that you did to open us up, because you truly let this thing roll as you got it going on. And then to you, Melissa, like I said, that was an eloquent reading that you did. So I want to thank you too. And a big thanks to Groovy G behind the scenes, the cleanup woman. She cleans up the place. You know, I just thought about that. That's what she is. And she just makes sure that there ain't no straggly noises hanging up all over the place. You know, and I said, you know what, when this woman becomes a practitioner, which I know is happening, it's not a thought, it's not an idea, it's happening. I said she's going to know exactly what she wants to do throughout her community. See, you don't start becoming a practitioner when you start that first class and take that 101. You start way before that. You begin to do your prayer work and all that, and she's doing all of that. Oh my God. Oh, I just know she's going to have it. She's gonna have that power. She's got it. So anyway, she's gonna answer that call. So that said, everything is taken care of behind the scenes, and Melissa's doing our greeting, and she's also making sure that she's spotlighting us to make sure that we can be seen out there and all that stuff. So big thank you to you, Melissa, for keeping that going on as well behind the scenes. So, and then Mo, she makes sure we get our prayers out there and the emails and all that great stuff. Big time thank you for that. So for everybody, and of course, you know, my right-hand man is always right here. Alan, the A-team, he's always right here, making sure everything's going good. And if I'm rushing to do anything, he catches me. I love friends like that. He says, breathe. I love the breath. The breath is so real, man. He says, okay, breathe, Rosedale, breathe. And I say, oh, that's right. Sip, sip. I need everything I can to stay, and I'm sure you do too, but I guess you don't like it if somebody does it to you. But I love it, okay? I love it. So anyway, I find inspiration in this last song as we close.
We got a birthday coming up.
Whose birthday?
Jareva.
Oh,
Timmy's
that's right.
birthday.
I forgot. Almost forgot. JT's birthday was the 2nd of this month, and she's last week. So, oh my God. Thank you, Alan. Let's go for JT. I like that. Happy birthday. I like the whole song played on my birthday. And not only that, my children, see, it's all about me today. Okay, I'm making it all about me. I don't need to do that because I have to laugh because I learned how to be about myself. But anyway, I don't need to do all that today. So anyway, I find such great inspiration in Sarah Bray Alice, because I want you to know, before we leave today, I want you to remember that today was the reminder of releasing assessments and experiencing life. But you know, you hear so many different titles, but you know what? It's all about the same thing. There's only one power. There's only one source. There's only one energy that keeps us alive. There's only one place that we can go to get whatever we need, and that's from here. From here, from us. But it's up to you. So when you release that, all of these assessments, and when you release fear of what people are going to think about you, you can get what Sarah Bareilles' song, which is called Be Brave. And when you start to be brave and speak your piece, it is an enlightening experience. And you start to feel so in your skin, real good in your skin. And that's a beautiful thing. So I want you to, before we leave here, to remember this week, if you have any issues that you're wondering about this week, or something you got to go face or interview, I got to go and give a 45-minute presentation or whatever. I'm doing something every single week. Brave. I just get into a character when I get there and I speak. You do the same thing. Find that inspiration today in today's song, and let's go with that last song. Woo! Yay. I want to see you be brave. Y'all should see Alan in here. He's just doing his brave dance. Oh, I want to see him be brave, and he is doing it. Woo. So anyway, guys, the last thing of the day is our wonderful prayer person that always prays us out. So we have Reverend Karen getting ready to close it out, keeping us brave. Keep us on the brave note on the way out, Karen. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. How can I do a prayer? I've got to be like on fire and dance. Reverend Rosedale was on fire, experiencing life, and all these dancers getting up and being brave and stepping through possible criticism, but more appreciation from those watching. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Being brave sometimes is just like opening our eyes and getting out of bed in the morning, and that's all it takes. And as we release assessments, our own assessments, which are the biggest assessments that we most likely each of us do, is assess ourselves and experience life, experience every sacred moment that comes before us. As my voice is leaving and the frogs are jumping in my throat, I'm not assessing that. I'm experiencing it and experiencing life for all that it has to give, for this beautiful CSL Charlotte family, which I know one day I'm going to walk in that building and surprise Reverend Rosedale, because I'm going to be there in person. I just know that's going to happen, and it is happening. So anyway, just knowing that the message that we received today through Reverend Rosedale's passionate heart, her words of passion were on fire. She was on fire with experiencing life. She was on fire with releasing any assessments that she might have, because God has already assessed her. God has already assessed each of us before we were born, that we are beautiful, we are creative, and we are messengers of that presence that is within each and every one of us, within all life, everywhere. And knowing this and saying, my prayer for all of us today is to go out this week, today, this whole week, and experience life. Live it, live it, live it, live it. Have it beat through our heart. Have it come from our mouth and see through our eyes, and experience life in all its beauty and all its grandeur, no matter what it looks like. The appearance is not the truth of what life is. Life is beautiful. Life is lively, and life is on fire with love and passion. So as I release these words with gratitude into the universal law, please join me in saying, and so it is.
And so it is, Karen. Beautiful. Yes, guys, that was fabulous. And we just keep on growing ourselves. That's all we do. We just keep on expanding, expanding, expanding. Every week we explode through something. If it's not the consciousness meeting, it's the book study. If it's not the book study, it is this celebration service that we have every single week, because I'm always fired up for life, because this is what I do all day and every day. So thank you guys for being here. So I want to say to you, have a great rest of your week. Everybody make sure that week is good.